AfriForum has expressed concerns over the 6-month closure of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project tunnel. The Water and Sanitation Department said the October 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025 closure was prompted by the need for maintenance and repair work in the tunnels to ensure optimal water supply. I'm now joined by Lambert de Klerk, AfriForum's Manager for Environmental Affairs. Lambert, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. Now, this water tunnel predominantly supplies water to South Africa's economic hub, which is Gauteng, and this cut will be for 6 months. What do you believe will be the impact during that time?
Well, thank you first of all for the opportunity. I would say the first thing that might be a bit worrying is if the planning does not go as it is planned, or the project does not go as it is planned, which can be worrying. In all essence, we've spoke to quite a few specialists regarding this, and in all essence, if everything goes as planned exactly, there shouldn't be any problems. But we know in South Africa, there's always something that could go wrong, specifically when they have to do the maintenance itself, because how it works basically is the tunnel gets closed, and then it has to dry out, and then after it has dried out, they have to first check, and if there is major problems with the pipeline itself, that has to do extensive maintenance, then it can pose a problem that it might extend over the 6 months, which can be a quite worrying thing.
And how well in advance has South Africa known of these repair and maintenance plans?
Well, we heard about it about a week ago. The first we actually saw about it was actually a municipality stating, and it was the Tlabeng local municipality, which is Bethlehem, which first of all stated that their residents should be warned that there is this planned project, and that's the first time we heard of it. And then earlier this week, the Department of Water and Sanitation officially stated in a statement that this planned project is going to happen, and this is the exact date it's going to happen. And we also encourage that. We encourage the fact that the Department of Water and Sanitation is planning on doing this maintenance, because if we look at local municipalities just on a broader spectrum, one of the biggest problems with most of the water treatment works as well as the wastewater treatment works in South Africa is that maintenance is something that's lacking on almost all of them. And so we encourage this from the Department of Water and Sanitation.
So do we know of any augmentation that could take place in the absence of the supply from the Lesotho Highlands Water Project?
At this stage, no. We have written in our letter and also asked the Department of Water and Sanitation to give a bit more clarity on the planning that they are doing on the project itself, meaning what is the call it the risk plans they have in place. For instance, if there is a major problem with this pipeline, what would be the main objectives of the department to supply water to these towns that are living, first of all, next to the Vaal River system, as well as to Gauteng. What is their backup plan, if I could call it like that?
How important do you believe is the clear communication that the department is supposed to have with communities and other stakeholders in terms of the planning process, and for other communities also to be able to plan ahead in this instance?
Yes, I think it is critical for the department to do so because we know the Free State, specifically, if we just go and look at something like the Blue and Green Drop report that the department released end of last year, it shows that a lot of the municipalities in the Free State are lacking good management when I'm talking specifically regarding water. Most of their plants are not in a functional state, meaning that there might be a big problem, like for instance a municipality like Mafube local municipality, which is Frankfurt, and in 2 smaller towns, Verlies as well as Tweeling. And there, for instance, there's a massive problem with service delivery. So the department should be critical in the analysis of this, because there's already problems at local government level, which means that this could be detrimental to these towns if everything doesn't go as planned.
You seem very uneasy as AfriForum with regards to the non-communication of these plans. Are you not hopeful that this will be done in time and will be done effectively?
Well, everybody can hope. What I've learned working with the Department of Water and Sanitation, unfortunately, is, for instance, this specific, the Trans-Caledon Lesotho Highlands scheme is already behind schedule on the finishing of the project, meaning not just the overall pipeline, but there's an extensive project, and most of the macro schemes that the Department of Water and Sanitation is responsible for, meaning the bulk water supply schemes, a lot of these projects are already behind schedule. And then I'm talking, for instance, in Limpopo, one of the bigger projects they have there as well. Most of these are already behind schedule. So that is just a worrying sign. We shouldn't be naive in this, but as I stated right at the beginning, we welcome the fact that the Department of Water and Sanitation is announcing that they are going to do maintenance on this pipeline, which is critically needed. And I actually wish that more municipalities follow the department's example by doing major maintenance on most of their water treatment works.
I mean, the closure is only taking place in October of this year. Do you believe that there's still enough time to devise a good plan and put it in place in order to avert any potential crisis?
Yes, I do believe so. We also, in our letter, requested to see the plans, not to be not to judge them on the plans, but also to see if we can assist. We've got quite a few specialists. A person that worked for many years in the Department of Water and Sanitation is one of the specialists we have that advises us on these kind of projects, and he worked on the macro schemes of the Department of Water and Sanitation. And we also believe that all plans should be put in place beforehand, and we have questioned the fact that it's being done in the summer months. The reason being is that we know statistically most of the country uses less water in the winter months, which makes it a little bit sensible to do it in the winter, because the usage of water goes down a lot, as well as evaporation is not as high as it is in summer. But be that as it may, we still welcome the fact that the Department of Water and Sanitation is doing this maintenance.
We know that in the past, the department has been criticized in terms of the quality of the water, the availability of water, simply based on ailing infrastructure. What advice would you have, as you mentioned, other departments and other municipalities, if they could follow suit in ensuring that they also take up some of these maintenance plans? What advice would you have, especially with our ailing infrastructure, that we sort of fast track these kinds of maintenance plans in order for us to get the right quality of drinking water, especially for those in rural areas in South Africa?
Yes, I think that is very important. Maybe a small little story to help this is that in 2020, when COVID hit in South Africa, there was, for instance, in Ditlabeng, a rural community that did not, it's Kwa, if I remember the town correctly, or Kwa, the rural area, and they didn't have water, meaning in a COVID pandemic where you need water to sanitize, for instance, and wash your hands, and they didn't have that. So we believe that the answer for the failing infrastructure, specifically when talking on municipal level, I do believe that the Department of Water and Sanitation on the national level has another function, and that is an oversee function, as well as a stating or creating new laws or new policies to open the spectrum up for water treatment work, so that there can be more openly public-private partnerships with companies and organizations to help municipalities on ground level specifically to assist them with getting the right people on board and expertise to help them and assist them at maintenance, because that is one of the biggest problems in South Africa, is that on ground level, most of the water treatment works in South Africa, and then I'm not even talking about wastewater, is on a critical state that we've got a big problem on our hands in the coming future with regards to clean drinking water.
All right, Lambert, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. We certainly do hope that that crisis would be averted